Have you ever wondered if the Millennium Falcon ever got destroyed, would it become a ghost? Hi, I'm Joe, and today I have a Rebrickable model, MOC-200693 by Tomasso, and this is the Ghost, the main ship of the animated show Star Wars Rebels, but also featured in the show Ahsoka and had cameos in Rogue One and The Rise of Skywalker. And this Rebrickable model is made entirely from the parts in set 75375, which is the Millennium Falcon from what Star Wars calls the Starship series, or what some of us call the midi-scale ships. So let's take a closer look here at the Ghost. First of all, the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels certainly appears to be inspired by the Millennium Falcon, but the Ghost is a little more symmetrical and definitely has more flat surfaces. And I think this model captures that really well. If we look at it more from the top, you can see that we've got 4 panels here that are pretty much just triangles and give this ship more of like an octagon shape with the 4 corners and 4 sides. We've got the cockpit represented here in the front, and the Ghost kind of had a dual cockpit where you had a place for like a gunner to sit in the front and an actual pilot to sit on top, which is the reuse here of the Millennium Falcon's cockpit piece. And you also had a gunner on top, and we see 2 of these pieces here to represent blasters. There were also docking ports on both sides, which I don't know if these were used in the Millennium Falcon or not, but in Star Wars Rebels, we see other ships dock onto the side there. The engines of the Ghost are characterized by 2 very large engines at the top and then 2 small ones in the center. And those are represented here with the black round plates. And of course, there's no interior to this ship. And there's not really any Easter eggs, or at least none I'm aware of, like a lot of the other Starship series ships have, where there's a couple of studs that are supposed to be in the right color to represent, say, C-3PO or Han Solo or anyone like that. But there is one also neat little feature here, is if you remember, the Ghost was able to carry a small shuttle or a small support craft that it called the Phantom, and that is actually represented here with just this small micro build. Looks like something out of an advent calendar. And this, I think, would be the Phantom 2, which had the larger tail fin. But I think it's really neat that the Rebrickable designer was able to incorporate this into this model. And here I'll show both models side by side, and they're very comparable in size. Now, the original Millennium Falcon model had 921 pieces, and the Ghost only uses 790 some of those. So it doesn't use all of the pieces, but I still think it provides a substantial model. The building techniques are very similar, especially for the way the Millennium Falcon achieves its curvature here, which is a series of these panels, both on top and bottom, and they're attached by clips and bars on the inside, and then they clip together when you add the top and bottom. The Ghost is the same way. All these triangular panels here are clipped onto bars on the inside, and they clip together when you press them together. And it also gives this more than just a flat shape. It gives it some depth, much like the original source material would show. And of course, both models are using the exact same display stand. Now, there are lots of Rebrickable models that can be made with just the parts in this Millennium Falcon set. And 2 of those models are versions of the USS Enterprise, which I am interested in doing at some point. But the Ghost is one of my favorite Star Wars ships because it was part of Star Wars Rebels, which was something my kids and I experienced at the same time when it was new, and we loved the show. And we have the larger Ghost models that we also really liked and the kids played with a lot. So when I saw this Rebrickable model and it only took the parts from this Millennium Falcon set, I was really excited to build it and see if it looked as good as it did in the pictures. And I absolutely think it does. And in case you wonder, yes, it can come off the stand fairly easily, and it is swooshable. Thank you for watching my video about what I believe should be the next entry into the Star Wars Starship Collection. I want to thank my brother and sister-in-law for giving me a birthday gift card, demanding that I put it to use towards this channel. And I used it to buy another copy of the Millennium Falcon set so I could build this. And I really appreciate that. And I will probably end up using that model to build other things in the future. But until then, remember, today is a good day to build.